Hello, guys. Today I'm going to be ranking the 10 Fast and Furious films, including Hobbs and Shaw, after the release of Fast and Furious 9. I thought I'd give these a rank. I've been watching all the franchise leading up to the ninth movie, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight in and rank the Fast and Furious franchise. Number 10, Too Fast, Too Furious. This movie is my least favourite of the series. This one feels like it was the one that pushed the silliness a bit, and after the very streamlined first one, bringing this one in and only having one recurring character, not having any of the other characters involved in this film, is the only one that doesn't really follow the theme of family. The racing sequences look like a cheap video game. Some of the action is good. I like the undercover cop storyline, and I like the buddy cop style aspect of this one. But the second movie is very guilty pleasure entertainment, sort of like the rest of them, but it's probably my least favorite of the bunch. Number 9, Tokyo Drift. There's something about Tokyo Drift that feels very different to the other Fast and Furious movies, whether it's the setting or having different characters into play. I'm not a big fan of the main character himself, but I do like the inclusion of Han, and this story has been developed upon later and does come into play later in the other Fast and Furious movies, but it felt more like a spin-off of the other movies and just a racing movie in Tokyo. I think it's fine. It's nothing special. I like its style a little bit, but it's easily one of the most forgettable and one of the ones that feels least like a Fast and Furious movie. Number 8, Fate of the Furious. The 8th movie in this franchise was the first one not to have Paul Walker involved, and you could tell they sort of struggled to make a story around that, and I thought including nuclear missiles in a submarine just went a little too far with this one, but I still enjoy it. I like the story it gives for Dom, I like the tension that brings between the team. I like the major cast. I like Jason Statham coming part of the crew as well, so I like the cast camaraderie in this one, but it's just one of my least favorites and easily one of the most forgettable of the franchise. I really don't remember much of this movie, to be honest. Number 7, Fast and Furious. This movie was sort of like a reboot of the Fast and Furious series and more like a sequel to the first Fast and Furious film. So the fourth movie in this franchise is more like the second movie. I like the relationship it gives for Dom and Brian and the opposite sides of the law they are on. I like how it changed this franchise into action thriller, but didn't necessarily give it the punch it needs like it did with the fifth movie. There wasn't really many impressive action sequences. There wasn't many memorable things. It's easily one of the most forgettable of this franchise, and a lot of these movies are forgettable, very repetitive, but this one just feels very forgettable for me, even though I liked the direction it changed the series was going in. Number 6, Fast 9. Fast and Furious 9 was absolutely insane. They went to space, they were invincible, it was crazy, but I enjoyed all of it. I thought it was a complete blast, and even though it's not one of the better made movies in this franchise, it's definitely one of the most entertaining and most self-aware. Don't take this movie seriously. There's stuff emotionally that doesn't necessarily work, but I thought they found a good way to continue the franchise on and just level up the insanity. And it's just crazy looking at the first movie and then looking at this one and just seeing the difference in just style and tone. It's completely different, and this ninth movie I enjoyed quite a lot, so it fits sort of nicely at middle of the road for me. Number 5, The Fast and the Furious. The first movie in the franchise used to be like number 1 because it was just the simplest one, but after rewatching some of the other ones and realizing that they are better, this one moved a bit down on my list, but I still think this is a very cheesy, fun racing movie with some action undertones, with a good undercover cop storyline, and a good mix between criminal and cop sort of stories, and that's always what the original Fast and Furious movies were to me, not these big bloated action movies in space, but this simple racing movies with action interweaved, and that's exactly what this movie is. It's simple, it's cheesy, it's one of the most forgettable in the franchise, but it's the one that started it all, and I appreciate its simplicity, especially looking at what came next. Number 4, Hobbs and Shaw. If Hobbs and Shaw is the most self-aware and standalone of the Fast and Furious franchise, I love the comedy between Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson. It's so funny. Their insults are great. They punch people for 2 hours. They drive cars fast. There's Idris Elba as a superhuman villain. I really enjoy this movie. It's so dumb and so fun, and it pushed the Fast and Furious franchise into a direction that I actually enjoyed. Fast 9 sort of went in that similar direction, which is why I like that movie as well, but Hobbs and Shaw was the one that sort of did that. The action's well handled, it's well directed, it's just a fun movie, and it's the one I've actually seen the most out of all of these films, surprisingly. Number 3, Fast and Furious 6. These first three, the top three I have, are really the pinnacle of the franchise. The middle piece of this series is where it's at its best, and Fast and Furious 6 is in the middle of that peak. There is two great action sequences, one involving a tank and one involving a plane, that are very over the top and crazy, but the movie knows it, and the movie knows how to be heartfelt with its characters, have a decent story, a good pacing, and excite you with action. It's not trying to be anything more than that, and Fast and Furious 6 followed in the same heist veins of Fast and Furious 5, and I liked what the sixth one did. It's not one of the most memorable, but it's just one of the most streamlined, and it just, I think, understands really well what the franchise is. Number 2, Fast 5. Fast 5 definitely revitalized this franchise. I can totally see why it's many people's favorite Fast and Furious movie, because it revitalized this series into more action heavy and more serious, but also had a self-aware tone. The action is great. I really like a lot of the heist sequences. It was the first movie to bring every character together for a big group up, and I really liked it. It's basically like Mission Impossible, Ocean's 11, a Fast and Furious movie all mixed into one. It's really, really fun, and it understands what the style of these movies is. It takes the characters to new levels, and I really enjoy Fast 5. It's a feel-good action movie, and it knew exactly how to push the franchise further. Number 1, Furious 7. Furious 7 is the best Fast and Furious movie to me. It not only has the greatest action of the franchise, the most exhilarating, well-shot action, has the best camaraderie between the group of characters, and it puts the most challenges in front of them, but I actually think this one has the best messages about family. All these movies are about family and cars, we know, but this one I think really toned in on that aspect the most. But what this movie actually did the best to me is actually have some emotion. And mostly that is because of the tragic passing of Paul Walker, which this movie handled really well towards the end, and it actually makes you emotionally invested into it. And I think there was no need to continue after this. They've continued, and they've made still some more fun, dumb action movies, which is fine, but Furious 7 felt like the perfect endpoint for these characters, and it was really great. They could have easily stopped here, but they make so much money, they may as well make more, and they did. But Furious 7 was a really good finish point at that point of time, and I think it not only was a self-aware and extremely exciting action movie, and easily has the best action of the franchise and the best villain, but it also had the bit of emotion that actually worked and actually landed, and it handled the death of the actor of its main character really, really well. And I think that movie stands up, and it's not just because of that it's the best one. I think it's honestly the best made, and it's the one I had the best time with as well. Furious 7 and Furious 5 are very close, but that pinnacle between 5 and 7 is the best. Those three in the middle of the franchise easily was where the pinnacle of the franchise was, and 7 to me is the best one. So there we go. There is my ranking of the Fast and Furious movies. These movies are dumb, they're fun, and no matter how insane they get, I'll always seem to enjoy them. So there's my ranking of all 10. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on these movies and your ranking down below. Also, make sure to check out my Letterboxd. That also has loads of other rankings and lists and reviews on movies on there. And of course, thanks for watching, and live life quarter mile at a time.